So here's my thought process. The reason I go with this deck, basically, I've got one optional slot, and that's where my Countess is at right now. And I do use the Countess quite often. But I've got a Buff Beam and Reflect Beams. I've got a Boost Aura and a Skyguard Tower. And then I've been using my Initiate for Destructive Pylon on a Frost Strike Aura, and then additionally, I put my other Destructive Pylon on a Water Aura with Anti-Heal. So anytime I need Anti-Heal, I would have it on a Water Aura and just have massive coverage. But this is what I'm finding. First off, if going like with this setup, it only gives me one hero to pop in for main defense or whatever. So it kind of limits my options as far as what to play around with. So what I want to do is rework my Reflect Beam so that it's going to be the new holder of my pylons. Now, when we look at the Reflect Beam, we've got Shattering Torpedo, which of course is what provides the earth damage when you use the Reflect Beam for the Petrify combo. And I've been hanging on to this for so long. However, I can't tell you when the last time I purposefully tried to use a Petrify combo. Just don't need it, you know? So I want to get Anti-Heal moved off of this and put onto that where that Anti-Melee is. Which means I'm going to have to do some mod swapping. And going to have to blow some Goblin item insurance. What's going on there, Uxumaki? So, let's just get to it. Let's see. First things first, we need to free up a spot here. So we want Anti-Melee off of here, but obviously I'm not going to just throw away an Anti-Melee. So with that in mind, I need to put it somewhere. We can just put it right here. So let's take the Anti-Melee and move it to here. And I want to make sure I'm using a Goblin item insurance. So we're good there. And there we go. Now we got our Anti-Melee off, and we've got that Anti-Melee somewhere where we can use it later. So now we want to take our Anti-Heal off of our Water Aura and move it over here. Now, obviously, if I had another Anti-Heal, I would just use the second Anti-Heal, but I don't have another one. And of course, we want to save these two. So we're going to use another Goblin item insurance. And now we've got that one saved. But now what we've got is a Reflect Beam with defense rate, Anti-Heal, and tenacity on it. And we want to turn it into a full utility defense. So we're going to get rid of those. We're going to take Destructive Pylon and Range Pylon off of there. We'll move Destructive Pylon and Range Pylon onto the Reflect Beam. So now we got Range, Destructive, and Health Pylon. I need to gild that thing on our Reflect Beam. And what that allows is for me to do something different with my Initiate. So I no longer am locked into having that hero spot. Now, obviously, you can always swap heroes. But I'm talking on the pure lazy mode, where I just want to be lazy. I can now throw in, say, my Hunter and have a different choice of DPS hero plus some viable defenses to throw in. You know? And then that also allows me, like, say I wanted to go a Nimbus instead of the Dragon's Nest. Well, now I can just swap the Nimbus in right there. I don't enjoy playing the Dryad actively, but I've got the Hunter right here who I do really enjoy playing actively. So I can still build with my Nimbus and have that deck slot freed up. So I think long term, it's just a better overall destination. You know, defense rate, anti-heal, tenacity. I can use it exactly the way I'm using it now. And the only difference is I will have to add it into builds where I normally would have thrown down a Froststrike Aura. And of course, we get the benefit of it's still only 20 DU. So, like, say I was doing those same builds that we were just doing. Say it was the 400 DU setup. We're doing the 400 DU setup. I can do that instead and accomplish the exact same thing. Forgot about the buff beam. Accomplish the exact same thing, but have that slot freed up.